You think you know what your teen is going through until one day you realize you don't. Not because you're a bad parent, guardian, teacher, or sibling, but because most of us were never taught how to truly see a teenager's inner world. In today's episode of Unlocking Our Code podcast, we're unraveling an emotional and psychological struggles that teens are carrying right now. And we're not going to just be talking about rebellion or bad grades. We're actually going to be talking about what lives beneath the silence, the attitude, the closed bedroom door. We're going to dive deep into something that's affecting more teens and young adults than ever before. Mental health. From anxiety and depression to loneliness, social media comparison, pressures to perform, and identity struggles. Many teens are silently battling way more than they let on. For me, someone who works inside a high school wellness center, I get to witness the real side of what students are going through. And today, we're going to have a conversation that gives voice to the things that they often keep hidden. This one's for the parents, the caregivers, the mentors, and honestly for the teens themselves, because it's time we start talking with them, not just about them. This episode is an invitation to slow down, to see, to hold space for the teen in your life, for the teen you once were. I'm here with Devi.
Hi.
Hi. And we also have some very, very special guests with us because we want this episode to, when we thought about this episode, we said, let's do this. But then we thought, why don't we bring in the perspective of some teens? This is the younger end of our teens, but our special guest today is my daughter, Mia, and Devi's daughter, Abby. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Happy National Daughters Day. We are recording on National Daughters Day.
Yeah, we didn't even know it was a National Daughters Day today. Sorry, guys.
We didn't get no Starbucks.
Welcome. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. We're excited because as we're putting this episode together, we're thinking, how can, I was thinking more like in the teens when high school, right? In high school teens, right? But then we have these young ladies who are just starting their teens, right? They're 13 years old. And they're in 8th grade, about to go into high school. And it's perfect because we can bring in, from their perspective as brand new, fresh teens, and how it starts there. And so I feel like this might turn into a 2-part episode. It can go there. It can definitely lead there, because we do want to bring in perspectives from high schoolers as well. But why not start here and with our own children and let it be raw, unfiltered? We have no practice. They never practice. They've never done this before. And so, but I definitely, one thing that we did say is for them to be as honest as possible, even if it's sometimes painful for us to hear.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. So we are super excited to get this going.
How are you guys feeling?
Nervous.
You guys are nervous?
I'm excited.
Yeah, I am sure you are.
This is one they've been waiting for, huh? Since we started our podcast.
Yeah, they actually said, well, why did it take you guys so long to
They
put
did
us on?
say
I was
that,
like,
yes.
oh my
They
God.
did say that. So,
Oh my. So yeah, I mean, I guess for us, it's like one of the things is the most important is, what is it that I think for parents, what is it that we're not seeing, right? Like what's behind the silence that we're not seeing as parents?
mm-hmm.
And so many of us, I think we were raised to believe that silence means everything's fine. A lot of us don't know how to ask our kids, like, what's going on, or all we can say after we pick them up from school or, as they come home is, hey, how was your day? How was school? What'd you learn today?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that even that, what does that really mean? What is that? How is that, what are we really asking? And are we really asking them how are they by asking those questions?
I think we ask that question every day because we, in so many ways, lack the tools to ask better questions, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a question that has become a norm thing to do somehow. And somehow along the way, it's like, well, it's just what you ask. But in reality, you don't put more thought into it, or we simply don't have the tools on how to connect in a deeper way, right?
No. And to know and to be so aware of all the things that they can be carrying, because it's true, we don't have the tools, and we're learning those. But then again, another big thing of this episode we wanted to do is for definitely shine the light on the emotional part, everything that a teen is carrying with them at such a young age, right? And it can be so many things. It can be emotional overstimulation. It could be suppressed feelings. And we think they're just like mood swings. And they just, they don't know how to deal with these things. It can be depression that shows up as isolation, or definitely anxiety that's masked. And we can be seeing it as they're just being defiant, like little brats, So there's so many things that we can be looking at it and we're not understanding it and we're thinking it's something else, but it just may be going deeper into that.
Yeah. I think that, like how you had put all of this together, the beginning, right? The storm that we as parents are missing. I feel like the very first step that we are missing as parents, the number one thing is the signs.
Yeah.
We're missing, they're right in front of us and we're missing them. And why are we missing them? That's the big question behind it, right? Why are we missing those signs to begin with? Why do you think we're missing them?
I don't even think that we were, I feel like for me, it has a lot to do with how I was raised and the things that were asked of me, like the minimal things that were asked of me too as a child, like how much interest did they put in me as a child. So I feel like a lot of that has to do with me and how I was raised, and how now kind of what was put into me, I'm putting back into my children. But I have so much more awareness now. But still, even then, sometimes we get so caught into our own lives, everything that we are dealing with, our own world, that we forget that our children have their own world. Yeah. That's one of the things one of the biggest things I feel like that is my mission for this episode or episodes, whatever this turns into, because I just feel like it's such a big it's such a big message. It's such a big message that needs to be shared. So I feel that my mission during this episode is we have our own world, and our world consists of a million things. I mean, right now, if you sit down and you write in just one piece of paper, what thoughts have gone through your head? What are your priorities? What is number one? What is important? What is stressing you out? Us as a grown adult, right? What is stressing us out? What do we have to deal with today, tomorrow? What's on our calendar? Who do we need to talk to? Who just texted us? Who do we need to respond to? Who do we need to call? What bill do we need to pay? That's our world, right? Ours. But then we look at our children and we just think like, oh, your life is just do your homework and get good grades because you need to go to college and become someone. And in my head, I already have an image of what I want you to be. So, kind of pushing you towards that, right? But we tend to forget that our children have a world. It's not the same priorities as ours. It's not the same list that it's not going to look. Our lists are not going to look the same, but their list is going to be just as full as our list because that's their world. And I think that's my message for this episode is your child, your teenager has also their own world. They live in this chaotic space as well, just like we do. And we tend to forget that. We tend to forget everything that they're going through. And I'm seeing it now firsthand working at a high school. I'm seeing it like, holy smokes, this is giving me an insight on what my kids are going through or what these kids are in our community are going through. And it's an eye opener. And I've only been there for a month or almost two, but it's been insane to see it happen, to see them, to see the world through their eyes. And that's my message that's at least the message that I want to get across, that they have their own world and it's not what we think it is.
100%. I agree on that. We tend to get blinded by our everyday life as parents, right? Or caregivers. We tend to just focus on we focus on surviving.
Yeah.
We're just focused on that. We're not focused on anything further than the survival a lot of the times, or we don't even have the tools to focus out of survival. So then we're just surviving. And then everything, our children get dragged, in the middle of the survival.
That's why we don't see it. That's why we don't see their emotional needs, because we're stuck on survival mode. We just want to survive today. We just want to get through today.
Yeah.
And make it.
Yeah. If your child's when as a family, as a unit, right? As a family that is one unit, if the whole pattern of the family is just survival, you are at peace with just looking at your child come home, eat, go to sleep. That's enough. He survived. He or she survived. But you can't see further than that, because all that matters is that your child's alive. Nothing else. Right? We're not trained for anything else. That's what was done to us. Yeah. So now we're passing it on, right? And I feel like that creates a lot of loneliness, a lot of lonely worlds for our teenagers. And the pain begins. And there we go. The cycle of pain begins, right? Abby and Mia, what are your thoughts on this? What do you both ladies think on the signs that parents are missing at this moment with teenagers? What are some of the signs that you're missing, that we're missing? What do you think those are on top of your head? Whatever comes at the top of your head.
Mental health is definitely a big thing for teens. Like, I feel like parents should open a safe space for their children at all times.
Yes, that's a big one. I feel like children right now, teenagers right now, the number one step as a parent is creating a safe place where your child can come and open up, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Mia? What do you think?
I just want to go back a little to where my mom said that her childhood, I know how my mom and my dad were raised, so I feel like how they were raised, they try to bring that on us, and they see how their parents raised them, so now they try to raise us like their parents. But all we want you guys to do is to be better raisers than our grandparents, and we know that you want to be better too, because at the end of the day, it's like Abby said, it's mental health, and it's just stuff like that we just have to figure out.
How do you both feel? Because Abby did mention that too. Thank you for bringing that up. How do you ladies feel when we as parents use our own trauma, like when we're giving advice, bring up our own, like, well, this happened to me, and we use that during advice?
We feel like guilt, like trapped, because like if you try to speak up about a certain situation, then they'll just bring up like how their trauma was worse, and you can't feel a certain way, and you can't feel a certain emotion because like it's not worse than what a parent has gone through, like in their trauma. So you just feel like guilt tripped and like trapped, and like you just can't speak up about anything.
Yeah. I can see that. I can totally see that. I feel like I was 40 years old when I realized, like, or maybe 37 years old, when I was like, okay, those stories just can't continue. The whole, this happened to me and I survived, I turned out fine, because no, we did not turn out fine. But that happens often, you know? Yeah. What about you, Mia?
To be honest, I think it's unfair. I think that we are all our own selves, and for you to bring up your trauma on us, yeah, it does feel like we're trapped, and it does feel like, okay, so now we're guilty because this happened to you. But like at the end of the day, we're trying to tell you what's happening to us right now, and we need you to open your eyes and realize that the past is the past. There, forget it. You can't go back and change it. I mean, there's nothing you could do about it. Like, you can't do nothing about it, so just forget it. So I would just say the past is the past and just leave it. And now you figure out how to raise us, your children, because you're a whole different person than your mother and your father.
And also, like, when I said mental health is a big thing for teens, like, instead of rather just telling, like, your kids it's all in your head, like, most parents dismiss the signs that's in front of them, and parents always invalidate their kids' feelings. Like, there needs to be an open conversation instead of pretending mental health doesn't exist for teens. Most parents, like, always like wonder, like, why is my kid like this? Why are they acting like this, when they're just missing the signs that's right in front of them? Like, they just try to pretend like it's not in the back of their head all the time.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, I'm just like, whoa, speechless right now.
1,000%. I totally agree with you, ladies. Like, I see it so much, and I can say that I'm guilty of it. But I feel like it's at the same time, I feel like now I'm so aware of it, you know, I'm so aware of it. And definitely, you know, we always try to be better. Like, that's our goal, right? To try and be better. If we knew everything, if we knew better, we would have done so much better, but we're also learning. But that's the unfortunate part that I see so much right now, is there's so many parents, that are dismissing their kids' feelings, because at the same time when they're saying, well, you know, I had it worse than you, or you should have seen how I lived, or you should have seen what my parents used to do to me when I said, oh, I was feeling sad. They'd just smack me and be like, get over it and keep going, you know? And that's dismissing the emotion, that's dismissing the child, that's putting the guilt of what happened to them, their trauma that they still haven't been able to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Their trauma that they haven't been able to heal from or overcome. Mm-hmm. And so, and then, you know, then they go and they put this on this child. And so this child now feels like, okay, I'm not going to be validated. No one's listening to me. So why even try to speak up? So that's when the child starts to just close themselves, shrink themselves, silence themselves. But yeah, that's how patterns of dysfunction start, right? Because the child will now start to again shrink and silence and just no one's listening to me, and that's a coping mechanism. So now we've created a new pattern for this child as an adult. Yeah.
Patterns that we ourselves suffered under, right? We ourselves know what that feels like. But then here we are unconsciously or consciously still passing them on, right? So this is when the child begins suffering, right? When the cycle of pain, when the cycle of you know, self-harming, drugs, all those things start coming into play. And that's what I wanted to ask you both ladies. In your environment, you know, in the school or your environment, what are the top 3 ways that you see kids coping with their pain, their emotions, their stress? What are 3 things that you see?
Smoking.
I would say fighting. I feel like they have so much anger built inside of them for so many reasons. And then they let all that anger out on one person all because of they don't like how they stared at them or how they talked about them. But all that anger is not just from one person. It's from everything that has been just piling up inside of them. And then they just want to go throw it out on that one person. And then that's how the fighting begins. And after that, I mean, you can't really do nothing about it. Like, at the end of the day, okay, you got a bloody nose and you got a bloody nose. So there's no point in fighting. Because, to be honest, it's just building up your anger more and more. And you're not releasing it out with the punch.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, smoking is also one way that a teen can deal with their emotions, like of how they cope, and also self-harm. But the reason why some kids smoke is, one reason is to just fit in, because they don't want to get bullied, they don't want to seem like they're scared, and also another way is to not focus on their struggles and their problems that is going on around them in their environment.
Off the air, I was asking you, what's the percentage that you think that are using these mechanisms like smoking, fighting, and the self-harming, right? And I asked you, out of 100%, what's the percentage that you see kids using these things?
85%.
I say 90%.
Really?
So out of 100 kids, you'd say 90 kids. Out of 50?
45.
Are fighting, or smoking, or self-harming.
Yeah.
What else do you guys see at school?
I think a really big one too is friends. I see a lot of kids, and I mean a lot of kids. Once they're alone, they start panicking and they start getting scared. And it's like, I see us teens, we don't like to be alone. We just always want to be with someone, but
Like in a crowd.
Like, you just want to be with the big crowd to fit in. Like, yeah, to fit in. That's mostly the reason. But we have to understand that being alone will actually help us, and it'll just clear our mind off things. And like, sometimes I'll just be alone just to, like, I don't want to hang out with you guys. I'm just gonna go over there, and I'm just gonna be by myself, and I'm just gonna think and then clear my mind. Like, us teens, we need to realize being alone is amazing, and it helps us in so many ways, but we just can't, because we want to fit in. That's all we want to do. We just want to fit in with someone or with the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another way a teen also, like, deals with their emotions is seeking for attention, because they don't get it at home or from their families, so they seek attention. And most kids will see it as like, oh, they're a pick-me, oh, they're just like just all these certain names, but in reality they just want to feel loved, because they don't get it at home or anywhere else.
And that's also how fighting starts. They just want the attention. They just want to
Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, they just want to be seen.
Yeah. Did you say pick me?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like, it means like, oh, like pick me, like
Be chosen.
I want the
wanna
spotlight on me.
Like,
Yeah,
I just want all of the spotlight on me.
Yeah.
All of it.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
How do you two think that parents can support their children? A child that is smoking, that is self-harming, fighting, like you said, or struggling, just wanting to fit in. How can a parent, let's say that a parent today finds out their kid is smoking or self-harming, or is just having issues with multiple fights at school, and the kid it's demonstrating a lot of like crazy behavior. How can we, because the reason I'm asking this is because we are too focused on the action, on the behavior itself, right? In school, and parents too.
Right.
We're never looking further than that. We're just like, oh, you got in a fight? Well, now here's your consequence, right? Or, oh, you're smoking? Here's your consequence. But we never go deep. I don't know if it's because we're scared. There's so many things that can be playing around, right? But how can we step in as parents to support?
Most parents think therapy works, but I would definitely say conversations. Like, the term conversation is key. Yes, it really is. teens love to be just sit down and have a conversation and just like having a conversation with their parents just for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes. That's all we ask. We just want to have a conversation with you. And not even if we're bad, just how's your day? Like, what'd you eat for lunch? Or how was your day at work? Like, what's been going on in your life? But their parents are just so busy. They don't have time to like have conversations with their teens anymore. They get home and they just cook dinner and then go do what they have to do around the house. And then they don't have time for us. And that's especially important for teens because that's when we're changing and everyone's changing. And yeah.
Do you feel like do you feel like parents are being pulled, and you can speak on your own parents, which is me and your dad, yeah, but I mean just in general, like you can generalize, or you can speak about your own parents. I want you to be as honest as possible, but do you feel like time is like taking your parents and it's like there's just never any time?
Yeah. My mom gets home from work and then she has more work to do on her side job, and then my dad gets home from work and then he has everything to do around the house. So it's like, yeah, we're just in our rooms, like on our phone. Like if I'm being completely honest, TikTok conversates more to us than our parents do, or social media. If I'm being completely honest.
And to go back what my mom said when she said how is a way like a parent can react when they found out their kid is doing something like rebellious, I guess. Like the first thing that parents do is like assume, like they start screaming. They start like just like they always ask, like they never ask why. Like why is the reason you're doing it? It's always like, oh, like what my mom said, like there's your consequence. Like
yeah, like they just focus on the action. Like you were smoking, you shouldn't be smoking, you know it's bad, and then you're in trouble for it. Or you got into a fight, like why are you getting into a fight? Or the typical one I'm hearing is like, well, I hope you won, you better have won, you know what I mean? Like instead of anything else, or what else, just things like that. But they're not really, what you're saying is that parents aren't really doing the deep work into trying to find out, why is your child out there fighting? What is it? What's causing the anger? Or what's causing them to have to feel like they need to go down the road of self-harming? Or why do they feel like they need to go and do these things like get high or smoke or whatever the case might be? Like what are they trying to run away from, right? So I guess what you're saying is we're not digging deep enough to try and find out what the root cause is. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I feel that for me, there's a discussion that I had with a family member. Not really a discussion that I had, but it was just like a comment that was made about, and I don't want to get too far deep into politics either because I refuse to do that. But there was a comment that was made about if something was happening in schools and they were pretty upset, saying like, oh, well, the school said that now they won't even call the parents to tell them what's going on with the kid. When I think it's ridiculous, like they're just going to deal with it themselves. You know, they're going to deal with it and the kid's going to have, you know, they're like protected when it comes to that conversation, but the parents won't know anything about it. Like that's, and so this person was saying like how ridiculous that was, like that the school is able going to take control of that. And he's like, well, I'm a parent, like how could I? But I said something like, well, instead of getting mad at the action, right? Because at that point is what we're talking about. That's the action already. This is what happened after the fact. I said, don't you think that you as a parent should have known that your child was this way or that way, or was thinking about doing this, or was thinking about doing that, or was already dealing with you? Where did that disconnect happen? So it stems from somewhere. The school did not create this. The school is already stepping in because the action was already taken. Mm-hmm. But you as a parent where were you when that happened? Like where was the disconnect? How did you not see that happen? You know what I mean? So when I kind of mentioned that, it was kind of like, well, yeah. And I said, exactly. Like, that's where it should have, that's something that it should never be like, I didn't know this happened, but the school knows it's happening. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's where we are disconnected. Yeah. And in general, as parents, there's a disconnect there that if your child is going to the school and saying X, Y, and Z, and you don't even know that, and the school is saying, well, I'm going to protect this child because this is what the child's saying, but you're now mad at the school. Do you know what I mean? So where's the disconnect that your child couldn't come to you?
Mm-hmm. That should be our first sign that we are not in tune with our child, first of all. Second of all, we are not a safe place, whether that hurts or not. Mm-hmm. Whether that hurts you or not, that is the truth.
Yeah.
You are not a safe place for your kid.
Nope.
No matter, you could be a safe place as fact as like you have a home, food, but you're not a safe place emotionally. Mm-hmm. And those are two different things. And there are truths that hurt. Mm-hmm. Yes, it hurts to hear or to take responsibility that as a mom, I'm not a safe place. It hurts. Mm-hmm. But I'd rather it hurt me because I'm hearing that so I can begin repairing, right? Then it's like you said, the school shouldn't be the one finding out that your child is attempting to take their life. Mm-hmm. They should not be the ones finding that out. Mm-hmm. And if that's happening, there is a huge disconnect between you and your child. Yeah. And that's the truth, whether we want to hear it or not, you know, because what parent wants to go through that and what parent wants to deal with a call like that? Right. No one, right? But we should not be saying like, oh, now they're going to handle it. Mm-hmm. No, thank God that someone's stepping in, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like not enough of these conversations are being like, we're not having enough of them. We're just kind of touching the surface, but we're not asking these questions to our teens. Thank God we called you both here today as we're speaking. I feel so grateful because, one, it's opening my eyes. Mm-hmm. I am directly seeing where I can repair, where I can become a more present mom, where I can begin having connections, conversations, you know, like we get so caught up on our phones, on our other side jobs, on our other side projects, but we lose track of what's in front of us, right? Which is our teens need us. They need us present, connected, in tune, right? I shouldn't be getting a phone call that my daughter is falling apart in school. I sure already know she's been dealing with something difficult, so that when I get that call, I'm like, I know exactly what my daughter's going through, right? And I feel like our children are falling apart left and right, especially, you know, our teens right now. There's a crisis. There is, like I was telling you off the air, right? We have emergency drills for fire, for earthquake. What's another one? For active shooters. Do we have a emergency drill for when our child is going through something emotional?
Like a mental breakdown?
Like a mental breakdown, you know? Like I asked one of my kids who's in high school that before I came. And it was a big like reality check. I asked him like, what's your drill? He's like, wipe my tears and keep going. Like, what? That's so sad.
I know. Yeah. It's sad to think that that's what they have to deal with. That, you know, that a lot of them think that that's reality. A lot of them think that that's what we have to go through, you know. Our job is to wipe our tears and keep going, you know. And that's exactly what I'm saying, that the kids have to, this is how they feel that they have to deal with when it comes to a mental breakdown, when it comes to an emotional, anything emotional, anything that they can't deal with anymore. It's overbearing, it's overwhelming, and they just don't know how to get out of it. Just wipe my tears and keep moving.
Yeah.
Like how sad is that? You know, this world right now, like you just mentioned, one of the things that you said we're practicing is active shooter drills. That's terrible. Like, this world has become so, it's the norm now, right? And people want to say, oh, it's guns. Oh, it's the people. Oh, people are horrible. Oh, just people are just terrible. Like, you know, it all starts from somewhere. Again, where did it stem from? Where does it come from? It's all mental health. How come we didn't catch it since the beginning? You know, because we are too wrapped up into our own world to realize that we created a human being. We brought a human being to this world. And this human being, if we are not teaching them or giving them or pouring into them, something else, somebody else is going to pour into them, into their emptiness that we left behind, that we're leaving them with empty holes. They're going to get it from somewhere else, something else. And it can be anything else. It could be something good. It can be something terrible. It can be something nice. It can be something horrible. It doesn't matter where it is, but they're going to get the pour in from somewhere else. And it can be something horrible, and they can turn out to be these terrible people that feel that they can actually go out there and take somebody's lives. Like, you know, so that's where it comes from. Now, once mental health awareness, once a parent taking more time, us giving them more time, stop being so busy in this world, I feel like we as a collective will start shifting, right? It'll start shifting into a more peaceful place. But until then, we have a lot of work to do, you know, and for our kids to say, all I know that I can do is wipe my tears and keep going. We're not even close.
Imagine. Oh my God. Yeah. That made me so emotional to hear that. 'Cause I'm like, you're not going to go ask for help. And they're like, no. Why? So like, we're not rehearsing these things with them. We're not rehearsing, son, daughter, when you are struggling emotionally, this is what we do. We're not running those drills, you know? And me hearing that from my child was so painful.
Yeah.
First of all, like, whoa, like that hurt me so deeply to hear that. But, you know, sometimes we need to hear it.
I know.
Sometimes we need to hear it.
And I feel like that's one of the reasons why a lot of us parents aren't asking the questions, because we want to tiptoe around it. And we, like you said earlier, we don't want to find out why, because when we ask you guys why, most likely your answer is going to be extremely painful to us. You are going to show us what we're doing wrong. And when we see that pain of saying like, oh man, I fucked up. Like, that was my bad. That's my child. And my child is telling me, you're not doing this correctly. And for a human in general, for a human to hear that you're not doing something correctly, that's already hurting your ego. For a parent to hear that, not only does it hurt our ego, it hurts our heart. It hurts our everything, every emotional part of us, every cell in our body. It's pain. It's in pain because we're messing you guys up, you know? So for us to hear that we're not doing something right, it's extremely painful. And I feel that parents don't want to see that. We don't want to hear that. So we maybe cover it. We bury ourselves with stuff to do. We say things like, hey, how was your day today? Okay, that's nice. And move on. I don't want to know anything else because I'm afraid of what's going to come out of your mouth. You know what I mean? But you know, one of the things, like, we want to make sure that everyone understands what teens are actually struggling with, you know, and we want to make sure that again, going back into like being in their world, seeing what they're going through. Like, we're in this era where we don't understand. We wouldn't even be able to come up with words to describe it if we were their age. We would be lost if we were teens in this day and age. We would be lost. We have no clue, right? So I feel like they're definitely the things that they're up against, first of all, the things that they're dealing with social media, the constant measuring, the constant comparison in social media. That's first and foremost, we struggle with it as grown adults. We struggle with seeing everybody's perfect life, and I'm saying quote unquote, perfect life, perfect vacations, perfect homes, perfect home cooked meals and lunches, everybody's perfect jobs, bank accounts, cars, everybody's perfect bodies, everybody's perfect everything, right? That's all we see on social media, the perfect of everything. No one is out there posting all, and all the filters, all the fake, all the struggles, all the how many times they went broke. No one's posting how many, none of that is being posted. So we're just constantly being fed all this filtered bullshit. That's what it is. And then perfectionism and pressure. They're dealing with the need to be perform flawless and be perfect and hit the grades and look good and feel good at all times and make sure that you are performing at all times. They're dealing with their emotional repressions, especially boys, right? Like you just mentioned, boys can't be vulnerable. They need to suck it up. They need to look strong. They need to look like they don't have to deal with this stuff. And boys don't cry. Boys are tough. And what are you talking about, right? They're dealing with a lack of emotional safety at home. What we're just talking about right now, we are not their safety. We're not their safe space, right? We're just not. They're feeling dismissed. They're feeling like no one's listening, and they're feeling like my parents think that I should be, that I should look like this and I should act like this, and my parents say that I should be this, and they should, and when they even fall out of line even a little bit, even if we don't say anything, they feel pressure and they feel like they already failed because they fell out of line out of what we told them this mold has to be like, right? Instead of just letting them flow freely and be like, okay, I want to see what you are like. I want to see what you it's like almost like getting a Kinder egg. Did you guys remember getting the Kinder eggs?
Yeah.
You don't never knew. Yeah. You like never knew what you're going to get. You know what I mean? You're just so excited to wrap it. It's like, I'm just going to be happy with whatever is in that thingy, you know?
But and that's what something?
Yeah.
Kids run away from their parents because parents' expectations, all they expect them to do is succeed and succeed and succeed. That's most parents. And that's why we run away from you guys, because we are so afraid of messing up that if we tell you, Mom, I remember my first math test in middle school, I got a D. I came home crying to my mom because I was like I'm a failure, and I was so scared because I messed up. I didn't get 100. I wasn't perfect. We feel like those are our parents' standards. You have to be perfect. You have to be perfect. You have to be perfect. And we just can't mess up. In our lives and our eyes and our heads, we cannot mess up because we are afraid that our parents are going to say something, or our parents they won't love us for who we are anymore. And that is also why kids running away from their parents. That's why all this goes back to connection. All of this.
I love that. Thank you, baby.
And also, most kids have a sad mentality where they could be on the edge of breaking down, but then they also realize oh, no one's gonna come to save us. So then we have to just keep going on with the life and everything else. And then most parents don't even realize that they're the reason why their kids are struggling because of how much pressure they're putting on their kids 24/7 all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Thank you guys for sharing that. I think 100% it's so true. That's that perfectionism and that pressure to perform, you know, and we do that to them. You know, we like I said, just open up your little Kinder egg and just be happy with whatever you're gonna get. Let them be what they came into this world to be. And that's, I think, a pill that was so hard for me to swallow. And my son is the one who is really, really teaching me that. And I'm really trying really hard to just hold on to that and say, I don't want I'm not having any expectations for my children. I want them to thrive and be happy in whatever they want to be. That's what I want from them, you know? And those expectations that you guys are talking about, just so you guys know, we as parents, it's not so much that we want that it's just something that was given to us, and not only from our parents, but from society. So like, for example, and I'm not even trying to give an excuse for us or anything, but for example, like, I'll just say this, for example, people ask me, oh, you have a son already that graduated from high school? And I'm like, yeah. And what do you think is the first question they ask me?
What does he do, or where does he work?
The first question they ask, what school is he going to? That's the first question. Oh, really? What school did he, is he at Hartnell? What school is he at? So if that's always the first question that I get when I say that I have a son that graduated from high school, what do you think the social is like? That's just what society wants. It's just out there. So those pressures come from not only the way we were raised, but it comes from society. It could be anybody, someone that I never met before, that I'm just meeting for the first time. It could be someone that I've known for a long time. That's question number one. Oh yeah, that's awesome. What school is he at right now? So that pressure as a parent, you're just like, oh, you know?
Pressure. Who, like, society, all that's in your head. As a parent, that's like, then you have that pressure, like, am I really failing my kid right now? Like, my kid's not going to school. Like, it's just society, what everyone's saying with school, whatever, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. Yes, you could answer the question and be fully honest, but at the end of the day, if you keep thinking that, man, like, my son's like not even in school yet, like, it's just pressure, more pressure on you, and then you're gonna bring that pressure to us, and then it's like you're gonna fall off and you can't hold on anymore. So we just have to ignore what society says, and just don't let it get to our head, because there's a lot of things that get to our head, and we just have to ignore them and push them away, and our brain just has to tell us, just go away. I'm in my own thoughts. Everyone else is in their own thoughts. Who cares what society thinks? Who cares what society says? Like, at the end of the day, it's all in your head.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right, baby. That's exactly what we're trying. That's exactly what we're trying to achieve. And in every episode is be yourself. You know, that's exactly what I'm saying, is the pressures of everything that comes down on us, for us to realize that is an exterior thing. That's not me. It's not my child. It's what you want. That's nice. That's good for you. No, my child is taking a semester off. He's going to take half a year off. He's going to take a year off. I don't know what he's going to take off. I don't know what he's going to do. But when he figures it out, he's going to be a happy person. It doesn't really matter to me, right? But those are the things that now that I'm super aware of these things, I can now say, you know, and it's one thing that I've been dealing with a lot, is now I know who I am. Like, I know me now, and I know what I want. And now that I know who I am, I want my children to know who they are, and then follow you. I want you guys to follow your own life and what you guys want, what makes you happy, you know? But that's one thing that I do feel that not only teens are struggling with it, but I feel everyone in general struggles with. But I feel like teens do struggle with these things, with comparison, with social media, with being perfect, with the pressures that we're putting on you guys, with even identity crisis. Right now, it's just happening everywhere. It's all over the place. It's under this huge spotlight, with emotional repression, that you guys can't show any emotions, with lack of emotion, lack of emotional safety at home, where we're not being your safe space. We should be your safe space. And with loneliness, you guys are struggling with loneliness. You guys can have 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 11,000, 100,000 followers, and for some reason still feel so lonely because you guys don't necessarily have someone who's actually there for you emotionally. You might have 100,000 followers, but do you really have someone who's there for you emotionally? So it's all this, there's all this, like, it's just it's empty friends, but it's leading people to loneliness. So I feel that this is all the things that these teens are struggling with right now. And we want them. I mean, that's what I want. That's what I want everyone to understand. These are their struggles. And I'm like super proud of you guys that you guys are here, like sharing your guys' point of view. I'm super proud of you guys that you guys are being extremely honest, and that's what we want. I don't want you guys to try and like save our feelings or anything, because TV and I have always mentioned since day one, we say we are learning. We are not on this podcast. We're not doing episodes saying we're perfect. We're not saying, oh, we know it all, we have it all figured out. No, we have sat here many times and just literally cried and said, like, man, I'm still messing up. Man, I'm still struggling with this. Man, this is still like eating me alive. I still haven't figured it out. And this is one of the things when it comes to parenting that it hurts us the most. It hurts us to our core to know the pain that we've caused, and that we feel it's almost like irreparable, that we cannot fix it. But we, like you said, we can't go back anymore. We can't go back to the past and fix it. All we can do now is do better for the future. But what you guys are doing is you guys are giving this insight to our listeners, to people that are listening that might have teenagers, or kids that are going to be into teenagers, or no teenagers. It doesn't even matter. But understand, like, this is our world. As a teenager, this is your world. And people need to hear the rawness, the realness. People need to hear, this is what's going on inside our head. And this is in our lives, in our world. Understand that we have an entire world. It's not just about grades and school and that's it. It's impossible. We have an entire world, and welcome to it. Look at it, open it, come in, walk through it, see it, ask us questions. That's why we're doing this podcast and this episode in general. I guess this episode.
Mm-hmm. And something that some parents don't realize is that, like, being a teen means having to constantly prepare yourself from separating from your parents and making mistakes, and at the same time trying to prepare yourself to be like human at the same time. Like, if you get that. Yeah,
you're so right. And that's so painful. I can just imagine. It's kind of like the human preparing to detach. I had read that in one of the parenting books too, that it said that when you have a 12, 13-year-old, that is the beginning of the child detaching from mom and dad.
Mm-hmm. On parenting books, I feel like they can work in a way, mm-hmm. but I feel like parenting, you have to figure out what mm-hmm. you are going to do. So yeah, you could read a little book and figure out what to do or how mm-hmm. to do it, but at the end of the day, it's not going to prepare you for what you actually have to go through. So mm-hmm. I feel like parenting books, I'm not saying they're a waste of time, but I'm kind of saying they're a waste of time.
Yeah, they don't overcompensate the life experience. Parenting books are a tool. They're just mm-hmm. a tool for parents. They're not a map. They're just a tool when we are lacking certain tools, but we're not aware of certain things, but they're not your map, and they certainly not be the map on the way we are parenting you guys, because that would take us in a way of, that would set us up really bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because each child has their own needs, and we will no longer see your needs if we're following a map that, quote unquote, is what we're being told to do. Life experience itself is what teaches us mm-hmm. every step of the way.
Yeah, and every kid is different. So there's just no way that we can, that a book is going to tell us. There's no way a book is going to tell us how to deal with our kid. Every child is different, right? You're different from your brother. Your brother's different from your younger sister. Your younger sister's different from you. Each one of you guys is so unique, So there's no book that's going to tell us. But all these things teach us a lot of things about ourselves as well, you know. And again, having self-awareness, being very clear of who you are and what you want. That way you can be a better parent. So those are the things that we pick up from that. But for sure, I totally see what you guys are trying to say here.
There was a few questions I wanted to ask them. First question is, what's one thing you wish your parents or adults understood about being a teenager right now?
Things I wish parents can understand is kids are going to learn from the outside world, whether the parents protect us or not. So many parents make the mistake of being too overprotective of their child, and then they wonder why they lose the bond and trust with their kid. Most kids are so scared to go to their parents about certain things because they think, oh, what if this, what if that, what if she gets mad? So they constantly keep their feelings in, and it drains them out. The parents won't even realize that the reason their child is hurting constantly. If you're too overprotective and constantly hovering over them, they're gonna think you're not the person they can go to when they need a safe space and comfort, and that's the biggest mistake a parent can make.
Thank you. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting that together. I love that. I feel that's so true.
Yeah. Very, very true. What about you, Mia? What do you think what's one thing you wish your parents or adults understood about being a teen right now?
I wish they can understand that we're growing up. And I mean, we're not going to get any younger, and we're going to have there's going to be so many like rides and adventures that we're going to go through, and like we're growing up. We have to learn. I want us to learn how to build a connection, because most likely at the end of the day, I will need my mom, I will need my dad, but if they're over there and I can't even have a 5-minute conversation with them, how am I gonna have my mom? How am I gonna have my dad? So I wish they could understand that we're growing up now, so everything is going to change. Everything. There's not gonna be one thing that probably will still stay the same with us. We're changing. We're going through different environments. We're meeting different people. So much stuff is going around us. Like, I'm so different from 6th grade to 8th grade now, in a good way, obviously. But I just want you guys to understand that we're changing and we're growing up, and we're not gonna go back to our old selves. We're growing up now. That's what I want you guys to understand.
Yeah, that's true. Because how can I put this out? Parents don't wanna accept the fact that kids are gonna start growing up and distancing themselves from them, and they don't want to accept the fact that they're gonna start going through things as well, because most parents will just see their kids as, oh, you're still a kid, you can't do that, you can't do this. But sometimes kids will need their freedom, and parents don't understand that half of the time.
Yeah, all my teachers tell me this now. Parents and teachers don't think of you as mature, as adults. They just think we're a little kid that just doesn't know what they're saying or they're doing. No, you can't go hang out by yourself. You're still a little kid, but we know how we've grown. We only know that. No one else knows that. And we know how we mature, and we could trust ourselves, and we know that we're going to go out there in the world and we're going to do good things. And yes, we would. And again, one thing we wish parents can understand, we wish you guys can understand, we would love to be treated as young adults. And because we're growing up to be that. And you're going to blink your eyes and I'm going to be 18. And then I will actually be an adult. But you're still treating me as a 7-year-old. So we would love if you guys start treating us like young adults. All my teachers say this. you guys don't really, like, why would we listen to you? You guys are just like little kids. We're not anymore, though. We're not anymore. That's what I would love for you guys to understand.
Yeah, sometimes I'm still gonna need my mommy and want comfort from her, but at the same time, like, kids won't want their freedom half of the time. But that's something that some parents just don't understand.
But they need to understand.
Yeah, what I hear, and I hear you guys, what I hear you saying is that you need us as parents to respect you for who you are as your own person, to respect your growth, to see it, to honor it, and to give you the space that you need to evolve into the person that you're becoming, right? I totally hear that. Thank you for sharing that. When you're quiet or seem upset, what's usually going on inside of you, if you can name one thing?
I'd probably just say that I've had a bad day. Sometimes I would just like to be alone. And earlier when I like being alone, it really helps me because I'm just by myself. And it's like no one's around me. No one's talking to me. I don't have to respond back. And I'm just there thinking, and then all my thoughts go away. And I'm like, I feel like I'm free from all the thoughts, all my like boxed up thoughts.
Like it helps you process.
Yeah, but if I'm with people when I'm sad or when I'm angry, it gets me more angry. I just don't like being around people when I'm mad, when I'm sad, when I have high emotions, because they don't understand, especially us. They don't understand us teenagers. Like there's a lot of times where I would want to storm off to my room so bad and just close my door and like just put on my AirPods, listen to music, and not talk to anybody. And there is times that I do that because I just want to be alone. I just want to be by myself. And there's a lot of times where I can't do that. But yeah.
And it's so powerful that you're sharing that, because it makes me realize in this moment, when I see my kids going through something, I'm such a hovering parent. Like I'm an overprotector, I'm a shielder. I start hovering, I start worrying. So when I see my child going through something, I don't want to leave their side. I'm like, what's happening to you? I'll question them over and over. Tell me so I can help you. Like I start panicking, I start getting worried, thinking of the worst, and I want to fix it. And I want to help them fix it.
And then we start getting mad, and then we start dry responding like, nothing happened, I'm fine, okay, and because it's just all that emotions already, it's just getting higher and higher because you guys are just hovering us, and you're just like let me breathe, like, you know. And so just being by yourself, or me personally being by myself, that's one way.
Hi guys.
Hi Greg.
So, welcome.
Yeah. So I'm listening to everything. Obviously, I listen to everything, and you guys are doing awesome. You guys are doing very, very awesome. I'm listening to what you're saying, Mia, and I just real quick. You got to understand something. I am listening to everything, and you are very vocal, and it's awesome, and it's great. And you say you need your alone time, and which is all great, Mija. It is all great. So we all need that. Even as adults, we all need that. But it's also fair that we're not mind readers, and that's why parents hover, because they want to know what's going on. If you tell them straight up, like, I just need my alone time, I can assure you, mom and dad will give you the alone time. They will definitely do it. Yes, you got to be more vocal. Just like they need to be more vocal with you and spend more time with you, you got to be more vocal. Like if one of my kids told me, Dad, I just want to be left alone. Go ahead, mijo. Let me know if you need anything. Okay, plain and simple, mija. So sometimes it's just one of those things. Like Divi said, is like she likes to hover because she's trying to figure out. We can't read minds. We cannot read minds. If we did, everything would be perfect. But they see something that's bothering you, and they just want to know that you're okay. They want to hug you. They want to hold you, but you just want your space. And if you ask for your space, I can assure you, I can guarantee you, they're going to give you all the space in the world, and they're just going to Do you need anything? Is everything okay? That'll definitely happen. But I love that you guys you're very mature by saying you need your space, you need your time, you need your AirPods. That's why I carry these AirPods everywhere, because I just want to put them on, listen to music, and just get back to normal. But it's just like I'm just piggybacking on what Stevie said, that she's hovering, but in reality she's not hovering. She's just trying to get something out of their kids. Like maybe there's a sign there, and we can figure it out together. But sometimes it's like, I just want to be alone. Just tell us.
And our fear, right?
Yes.
Our own fear of how many times did we hurt because we were dealing with things alone. So like our fears, our stuff, like that mental game.
Great.
The mental game starts coming up. And I know what you said is like, stop using your old traumas and bring them on to this generation, right? And sometimes I need to remind myself that, and like you're saying, Greg, it is a perfect example. I even like was speaking with my son before we came. I asked him the same question, and he said the same thing you said. He said, when I'm mad, when I'm angry, when I'm dealing with something difficult, don't make me more mad. And I was like,
Yes.
What do you mean by that? I wasn't understanding. He's like, I need space. And I was like, okay, I understand that. And I was like, what's one way maybe we can communicate with each other? Can you say, Mom, I need space? And then he's like, yeah, I can say that. And I was like, okay, so like, but I also have to be mindful as a mom.
Yeah, and all this goes back to communicating. Number one, in parenting and everything, you just have to communicate. So yeah, I completely understand what Greg said.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard. When you say you need space, I would have a tough time with that, because it's like, what do you mean? I'm here to help.
Yeah.
But it's
We
like,
wanna
no,
fix it.
Yeah. So it's hard when you say that, and I'm not saying you shouldn't say that. Definitely say that you need space, and if we're hovering around, it's because we want to make sure you're okay. But in other words, you said you need space. We should give you your space. We should definitely give you your space. So I'm not saying you don't. You're wrong for asking for your space. Most definitely not. You need to understand we cannot read your mind, and we're kind of like hoping that you give us something. But even so, I'll give you your space. Hell
Can
yeah.
I talk?
Please, Mia.
So sometimes when kids say like, "Oh, leave me alone," that's just like a sign, like I need you. Sometimes it is like a sign, like I need you, like do hover me, like yeah, you could give me space for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but like if you leave a teen alone for too long, they're just gonna drown in their thoughts, and then they're just gonna get more like drained and drained and drained. So sometimes a teen does need a parent who hovers them sometimes.
Yeah.
But like they can't just cross a boundary. Like they just need they do need to give them space, but they also need like an open spot for their parent. So
Yeah, I totally get that. I feel that that's super important. It's kind of what we do. And where I'm at the Wellness Center, we, kids come in, they want their space. We don't ever question or ask why. We give them their space. We give them their 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then we check on them, and then the conversation begins. But it's so much better to be able to do that, to give you your space, to gather your thoughts, to clear your head, to get all those big emotions to kind of like, simmer a little bit and settle, and then we can discuss, But it is true what you're saying. It's hard because not all parents are prepared for those conversations. Not all parents are ready. A lot of parents don't even know how to have a conversation with their kids. A lot of parents don't even know how to approach that. They're like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I'm just going to let them be. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. I mean, sometimes we can't see that's one of those things, like we give you your space. And if the parent is not ready, has no tools, doesn't even know how to communicate with their child, and never goes to check in, yes, the child can, like she said, drown in their thoughts, and then it turns into something darker, something deeper and terrible, So, it's one of those things where us as parents, we just have to, if we want to create these human beings that are just I don't like Mia said, we always want to say successful. Successful doesn't mean
Your child's successful.
yeah.
That he or she's in a state of success.
Exactly. It just means it's for me. It's like I just want you to be a happy person. I don't give a damn what you want to do with your life and how you want to do it. I want you to be happy doing it. I want you to say what I'm doing right now, whether it's, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm just very happy doing it. It's me. It's what I want to do. I'm happy doing it. As long as there's nothing behind you saying, I should have done this. I should be doing that. I should have done that. I regret not doing this. I want you to do what you want. So, but because parents don't know how to, like a lot of parents, that's what we need to do. We need to learn. We as parents, if we want to create a happy child that turns into a happy adult, then like let's start practicing having these conversations where you're checking in, where you're asking difficult questions. And if your kid is going to tell you something that's going to, I don't know, damage your ego a little bit, hurt you a little bit, hurt some feelings because they're probably asking you for something, it's okay. That's part of parenting. Parents, the kids are gonna tell us shit that's gonna hurt, and it's fine. You know, take it, learn from it, and now be better.
Yeah, I was like in a stage once where I was like so sad, and I just kept constantly like pushing my parents away. And then when like they budged one more time, like I opened up, and then I realized like, damn, like yeah. Like, I do need helping sometimes, because then, yeah, I will end up feeling better. Because if I just, like, allow all my thoughts to constantly, like, attack me in my head, then I'm just going to explode. Mm-hmm. And that's just, like, something that a teen, like, deals with, like, every day. And it's
But like, see, really and it's because you have parents that also have the tools to speak with you. You know, they also have the tools to come to you with the hard questions, even if you're going to tell them things that are going to hurt their feelings, or not even hurt their feelings, but hurt their ego, honestly, or they're going to feel bad and say, yeah, I did. But those are things we need to hear. Those are lessons that we need to hear. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say this, and it was a very painful one for me at one point. And yeah, it's personal, but I mean, what marriage is perfect, right? And I'm not. And so my husband and I, we go through our ups and downs like everybody. And Mia told me this about maybe a month ago. I don't remember how long ago, maybe 2 months ago or something. Mm-hmm. And she sitting in the car with me, and she said, Mom, and this was extremely painful, but it was a lesson for me and my husband. And she said, Mom, you and my dad are not giving me, my brother, and my sister a good example of what a happy marriage is like. That's exactly what she told me. And she said, and why? Because when my husband and I, we, like I said, we're not in a perfect marriage, because who has one of those? And we have our moments. And our problem is that we can tend to go too long when we're in those moments where we're not trying to fix our relationship faster than what we should be, when we're not fixing things that we should be fixing, when we're not addressing things that we should be addressing. But guess what? Our kids are not dumb. They're not naive. They see these things. They're watching us. They're listening. They're hearing. And I remember being young and being 16, 17 years old and saying, I never want a marriage like my parents' marriage. Never. Ever do I want a marriage like that. I didn't know what idea of a perfect, quote unquote, perfect marriage was, but I wanted something different than my parents. Mm-hmm. And then I grew up saying, I hope my kids never say those things to me. I hope I have like the perfect marriage. Again, I'm saying that, you know, but then saying, and now here I am, full circle moment. Mm-hmm. When my child is saying, Mom, right now, you and my dad you're not giving us an example of what I should be looking for in a perfect marriage or in a marriage. And I was just like, son of a gun, here I am, full circle moment, falling back into the pattern that I was in when I was 16, 17 years old, saying the same thing. And here's my 13-year-old telling me, nope, I do not want a marriage like my parents. That to me was so painful. I sat there with that one for so long. I told her, thank you for telling me that. I'm very sorry that we're not doing our best in this moment. And I apologize for that. But I remember telling my husband, and I'm telling him, we have to do better. Like, we have to do better. We want better for our kids. I don't want her to say that. Don't you want? And he's like, yeah, like, what? Like, basically we both sat there in shock saying like, God dang, we're messing up like big time, And so, but as painful as that was for us to hear, and it sat with me for so long, it was a lesson. Yeah. I learned something that day. You guys are teaching me, and I tell TV all the time, my kids are my biggest teachers. They're teaching me life. They're teaching me how to be a better person. I'm watching you guys grow. I'm watching you guys soak the world with your eyes. And then you guys come and bring it to me, and I'm just like, unbelievable. Guess what I learned from my child today? And it's the best. You guys are my best teachers. As painful as it is, you guys, you and your siblings keep teaching me how to be a better parent. And at the end of the day, be a better person.
You're our inspiration.
Yeah.
And that should be something that parents need to understand. I feel like us teens, we teach you guys as parents way more than you guys actually teach us. And it circles all back to communication and just like hiding in a little box from your parents. But our purpose is we don't want to hurt your ego. We don't want to make you feel bad. We are just telling you, Mom, Dad, this isn't working. This isn't, and it's not just for marriage, it's for everything. Like, this, it's just not a good, anything. And it's just not good. And we're not trying to hurt your ego. We just want you guys to understand that what we're telling you, it's something that you could take in, and that hopefully you take in. You don't just leave it out, and you learn from it. Because, yeah, at the end of the day, we're teaching you guys more than you guys are teaching us, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, definitely. I agree 100%. I feel that children have such a beautiful, and teenagers have a beautiful purpose on earth, which is to be our biggest teachers, to remind us a lot of the times, hey, you're still acting like a teenager. Or, hey, you're still acting like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, whatever it is, right? I feel like I have a lot of moments like that myself. My children are my biggest teachers just by watching them, by hearing them. Like, I get the biggest reality checks.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And they inspire me to keep growing, to keep moving forward. That if I do need to repair something, that I do it, that I move forward, and that I take responsibility. And that I, like you said at the beginning, that I stop using my trauma as an excuse to keep going with that pattern. I feel like, for sure, for me, my children have taught me so much, and they have also helped me raise my own inner child, like parent myself. Like, I've been learning how to reparent my own self just by watching them,
Big time.
Yeah, something that is like really hard for some parents to understand is that their kid is not going to be perfect like 24/7 of the time, because sometimes I could go to school like crying because of one of my parents' actions, because I'm getting like screamed at in the morning before school, and then after school they just like brush it off and act like nothing happened, like just not talk to me about it. And sometimes that does make me really sad, because like you're supposed to be my comfort person.
Can I add on to that about that yelling at us, not just before school but anytime, that like mentally like really hurts us. That like, I know whatever we did, okay, we missed the bus, we woke up late, we were too slow like to change, and we missed the bus or whatever, and then you guys yell at us, and then the like entire car ride you're just telling us how like we're wrong. it mentally hurts us. Like, we're not perfect. We're really not. Like, I don't have you, or I don't need you to expect me to be on time to everything, or because at the end of the day, we're not perfect. And you guys yelling at us in the morning, right? And then we go through a whole day of like not seeing each other at school, and we come home and you act like if nothing was wrong, and you're acting like if everything's fine and like we're back to normal. But that stays with us, like, and then you guys are mad when we try to ignore you because of what you did that morning, and then we cause a whole nother problem.
But I totally get what you're saying right now. We're adding fuel to the fire, especially in a stressful moment, and parents just yelling at their kids doesn't solve any problems. It's an added stressor, which is actually something that we talk about in school when teachers are literally saying, when kids are coming in late to class, instead of saying things like, why are you late? Did you bring a tardy pass or something? They're not allowed to say that to the kids anymore. Now they're allowed to say things like, oh, we're glad you're here. Now we're complete. Like, they're not allowed to add to the stress. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like, we don't know what this kid just went through in the morning. First of all, they're late. And we don't know if their parent was screaming and yelling at them. We don't know how shitty of a morning they had. And then we're still going to shame them for coming in late. You know what I mean? So I get the stressor part, and parents shouldn't, adding and yelling to stress shouldn't be happening. Very important, I think, in this part, what we're trying to discuss is the importance of parents showing accountability for their actions, for sure. The importance of parents showing teens that it's okay to, because we're not perfect, right? So it's okay to have moments where, emotions are going to get the best of us. And sometimes it's anger because we're dealing with all the stressors, and then something comes up that's definitely pushing us off the edge. And so then all these emotions get riled up, and then we say things or act out or lash out of frustration. And then our kids get like the worst end of it. Like, they get the brunt end of it all. And then here we are, now they're at school, now we're at work, and we're both feeling like crap because we unleashed on our child, and we regret everything because what happened. Now the emotion of anger went away. Now we're not feeling angry anymore. Now we're like, okay, we're calm, but we're like
guilty,
super feeling guilty. Like, we're guilty. We want to hug them. We want to cry. We feel terrible. We're like, oh my God. And then what's happening on the other end with our children? Our children are feeling like shit. They're having a terrible day. Nothing is making them feel good. They're just like, what did I do wrong? I didn't do it right. My parents are mad at me. Do they love me? Like, am I not good enough? Like, what's going on? Like, all these questions that they don't understand the answers to now playing out in their head, right? So those are things that I feel is so important too as a parent. Take accountability. I'm not saying we're always gonna be able to control our anger or control our emotions, because it's super hard to do it, right? It's super hard as a human to be able to do it all the time. But if you can't do that, then please take accountability. Reach out to your child and say, I messed up. I'm so sorry. I feel terrible for what I said. The anger got the best of me, and I'm so sorry. Like, I'm going to try my best to be more mindful and try not to do that again. I think it's so important for kids to understand that we are human. Just because we're old in your guys' head, but we're really not that old, okay? Yeah. But just because we're older doesn't mean we're perfect. We're not perfect. We're far from perfect. We make so many mistakes, Yeah. So it's super important for that.
Basically, like, a kid can go to school with like the most heaviest heart because of one little thing that one of their parents said. Like, it can make them insecure so quickly. Like, and some parents don't realize that.
And I feel like now that I'm hearing all this information, I feel the importance of us adults taking accountability for our actions. I feel like we should not be repairing with more damage. And I think that when we are scolding them, I've been guilty of that myself many, many times, because they're late, because they're not hurrying up, and I'm yelling. then what I'm doing in that moment is trying to repair with more pain. Because now I'm yelling and now my child's feeling pain. So I'm repairing with more pain or with more trauma or whatever the situation is, right? At the end of the day, it's like we as parents sometimes lack emotional intelligence to deal with things. I've seen it in my own self many, many times. And I am forgetting a lot of the times to say I'm sorry. I am doing that. I'm still doing it. Now that, I heard it, it's like, yes, I've said it many times, but I don't say it enough. I'm not, if I did do something that hurt my child's feelings in the morning, or I yelled because they were late, I'm still using a lot of autocorrection that causes more pain. And then when they're back, you are right. I'm not even saying anything. I'm just acting like, that was nothing. But in reality, if that's affecting my child for a month, 2 months, really, I couldn't take 5 minutes to say, hey, I'm sorry that in the morning I overreacted. Or, these are conversations that, trust me and my husband, we even had one this morning where we sat together and we said, we gotta be more mindful of the way we're handling. We're constantly having conversations of we need to be more mindful, because we tend to just kind of act on our emotion in the moment without realizing the pain of the back end information. And yes, it's super important that we're mindful, right, as parents, how we are autocorrecting. Because if we are autocorrecting with more pain, for example, yelling, abuse, any type of trauma, anything that's hurting your child in any type of way, and it could be small. For us, it could mean nothing, but for them, it could mean everything, right? So being very mindful of how we're autocorrecting. And instead of using discipline, this is a conversation me and my husband were having this morning. We were having a conversation about parenting, and I said, before we go straight to disciplining, let's teach first before we start and you this and you stuff, all that. How about we take a sacred pause and we teach what the message we're trying to pass on, right? I think that's really important. We're so used to and we're so programmed to just discipline, but there's no teaching in discipline, because the child checks out. The moment we start disciplining, your teen is going to check out, right? So it's important that we take those sacred pauses as parents. It's also so important that we understand that our teens are suffering so much from emotional connection, emotional loneliness, that a home cannot be safe. Even if you're providing, even if you are doing all the right things, your home is not safe unless there is emotional safety at home. And that is a crisis we're having with our teenagers at this point, that we as parents, we are not aware that emotional safety and connection should be our main priority, right? And we're missing that very specific part in parenting. And yeah, I think this conversation has been, for myself, I could say it's been so eye-opening. Yeah. I could see all the areas where I need to begin repairing, where I need to connect, be present with my children. So many areas where I need to maybe come in and apologize, It's been very, very educational for myself to hear from two powerful teenagers, my daughter and your daughter. It's been so eye-opening. I took every single word that you guys said to heart. Every single word you said, my soul received it. And I can only hope and pray that moving forward, I can take different actions to repair.
Yeah, 100%. I totally can say I agree with her. I'm super, super proud of you guys for coming out here, for being vulnerable, for saying your truth, for saying how you guys feel, for being so passionate about it. I feel too that this episode for me, I feel super passionate about, and I just feel like there's more. I know we're gonna have another segment on this. I feel like we need to go maybe into like high school and see if we can bring in some high schoolers in here and see from their point of view. Like I said, this is kind of like the beginning, like the early stages of teenagers, and then moving into high school. It's so important, and it's because we need to start with the youth. We need to start with our kids. We need to start with with them, because we need to repair what is broken. We need to try and fix what we can salvage still. This is our new generation. These are the ones who are taking over, and seeing all the chaos that's happening out there in the world. Like, instead of questioning, well, who said what to what, or who's saying this, well, this is what happened, no, it's, let's go back again. Let's start from where the problems stem from. Where's that root? Where is it? Where was it planted? Who was watering? Who didn't water it? Like, let's start from the beginning, right? So thank you, ladies, for being with us, for being super passionate and sharing your guys' truth. I appreciate you. I love you guys so much. Like Divi said, I learned so much from you guys. But I definitely will say that, well, actually, no. Do you guys want to share any last words?
Yeah, the last thing I want to say is that most parents need to stop using negative resources to change a teen's behavior, and then just wonder, like, why? Like, why?
Yeah.
What do you mean by negative resources, really quick?
Like, using bad habits to, like, handle a kid. Like, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bad habits or broken patterns.
Yeah.
Stuff that is no longer working. Stop reusing it on your... Okay, yeah. I get it.
Yeah, so good.
Emil? I would just say, let's work, let's build a connection. I feel like every parent wants to have a connection with their teen, especially, and we want a connection with you guys too. We just don't have, like we said, we don't have time, and you guys don't have time to communicate. And yeah, communication is definitely key. And yeah, also, the past is the past. Like, we can't do nothing about that. So we're just gonna leave it there, and we're gonna build our future to success, because that's what we want. And mistakes are going to happen. We are going to fall. There's no perfect, like my mom said, but we're just gonna keep building, and we'll get there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that.
Greg, I know you jumped into this one, and we appreciate that too. Thank you for being... I feel like it was so passionate that even Greg had to say some words.
I just one obvious thing to the audience. These two young ladies are middle schoolers, and they just wowed me. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Me too.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
I stayed speechless many moments.
Yes, like, good job, ladies. Thank you.
Like, what? Y'all should be leading this podcast.
They're going to have their own podcast.
Right?
I know it. I can feel it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I can feel something coming.
I know.
And we're so proud of you guys. Thank you so much for sharing from your heart. I know this is not going to be the last time you two ladies will be here. I think that something will be born, and we'll see where all of it goes, right? Thank you for sharing from your hearts. Thank you so much.
I don't know about every Thursday, but calm down.
Oh, okay.
We loved having you guys here. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. It was awesome.
Thank you,
one
guys.
of my highlights from 2025.
I know. And it was a very last minute. Like, should we just bring them?
Yeah.
And we're like, all right. We're just going to bring them.
Yeah. It's the best thing.
I know. I loved it. Thank you guys so much. And again, for everyone listening, you know what, teens or kids, they don't need us to be perfect. They just need us to be present. They need us to stay curious, not controlling. They need us to listen a lot longer than what we actually lecture, right? They need us to guide gently without guilt tripping them, and hold space for their becoming, even when we think that it looks messy and it's not what we want. We must unlearn the lie that our job is to make them behave and embrace the truth that our only job is to help them feel safe being themselves. That is the message. Your child is here. They are a whole person. They have a whole future. It's already made. They already have, it's already there. We cannot mold them into something else that they're not. And if you try, and you can try, and some of you guys will get very far, but I will tell you, you are going to have a very unhappy child if you force your child to be something else that they're not. So that is my super passionate message, something that I am strongly embracing. I'm super thankful that you guys are here. You guys joined us, and I'm so thankful that you guys are still sticking on to. I know this was pretty long, but it was super passionate. I hope you guys all learned something. I know our next one is going to be something else, and it's going to come along the lines with this. But thank you so much for staying on. You know where to find us at Unlocking Our Code Podcast. Thank you.
See you on the next one.
Bye. Bye.